All right, this is chapter 2. It's about reconnaissance. There's an assignment that we'll talk about at the end of this, but you can look, it's already online. But yeah. All right, so in reconnaissance, it's the act of locating targets, developing the methods necessary to attack them. Reconnaissance electronically is just like any other type of reconnaissance. You figure out who your target is, kind of like your assignment 1, figure out who your target is, and basically do what you can. This may be flexible, or must be flexible actually, so you must be ready to change the way you do things, okay? This is not by its definition illegal. What does that mean? Doing reconnaissance is fine. So if I'm going to sit outside someone's house and look in from the street, is that legal? Actually, it's legal. But I'm betting if I did it every single day, sooner or later the cops would be there and we'd have issues, okay? It says, but there's a lot of techniques that are legal and a lot that are illegal, okay? So if I was walking up to your house, checking all the doors, they're locked, find an open one, walk on in, is that legal? No, it's not legal. So, all right. Okay, there's just a bunch of different tools they talk about in here, and this is just a chart about surveillance. We're going to talk about we're going to talk a lot about social engineering. How about bribery? You think bribery works nowadays?
Yes.
Oh yes, oh yes. Offer people whatever, and you know it always happens. But bribery is a big deal, and there's just all kinds of different stuff. Okay, now let's look at some of the legal things we can do. Looking up information on the internet. Funny story about that. I was up in Colorado 2 summers ago teaching ESM, and we were doing a port scan. It was a class of instructors, okay? Instructor from all these different schools. And we did an external port scan of their school's website. Illegal or legal?
Legal.
It's legal, okay? So each person did their own, and I did Rose State, okay? And I get back here the next week, and our CIO calls me. He said, Ken, I got a call from the people at Cameron University saying that someone in your lab is trying to break into their network. Well, what it was, we were using the vSphere system, so it looked like it came from Rose State. I said, no, we were just doing an external port scan. He says, wow, they're really worried. So, by the way, I did us too, and you didn't even notice it. You're like, you did? So, I mean, we weren't doing anything illegal, but they were being very proactive. They were looking for someone scanning all these ports and making the calls, which was good. But when I told RCA, yeah, I did us, and you didn't even notice. And he's like, oh, okay. And, you know, yeah, so, I mean, we were just, what we did is we did the common ports, 80, 443, 20, 21, all that kind of stuff. But we'll use some of those tools later on, okay? How about calling with a problem requiring customer service? How about if I call, in this class, Brad Johnson took this class, and he used to work for Eateries Incorporated. They own Macaroni Grill and Garfield's and all them. Macaroni Grill still around? Macaroni Grill?
Yes.
Okay. He was in charge of their IT. And it was funny because you call their place, because one of the people was stalking Brad and was trying to call about him. You call there, and unless you know the exact extension number, they give you no information. So when they call there and it says, yeah, I'd like to talk to Brad Johnson, you got an extension? No, I'm sorry. And they wouldn't even say that he worked there. It was really pretty good. But then they did tell Brad someone was calling about it. Because Brad came into class and said, oh, who's calling my work? It was kind of funny, but it was... So, yeah, it's kind of cool. But you can call customer service, okay? I posted, I think I posted on this one. I sent you all emails about a scam that happened to us 2 days ago. Did some of you get it, Elaine?
Yeah.
Okay. What it was is Henry was in my office. Henry got a phone call, and first thing Henry said was, will you please stop calling me? And then the guy goes, oh, no, you have a problem with your computer. So I actually brought up a VMware machine and went through the whole thing. We gave him fake identity, fake credit card numbers, and everything, but it's 45 minutes long. It's a scammer trying to tell us we have problems with our computer. We're bringing up event log, and there's problems in there. And we have INF files. Y'all know what an INF file is? It's Windows information file. No, those are infected files. So it was, if you got it, it's 45 minutes long. There's a little bit of crude language near the end. Because, did anyone hear that?
Yeah.
Because the guy goes, where are you from? And we says, Wyoming. Oh, is it nice in Miami? We're like, okay, fine. And Henry goes, yeah, there's a lot of topless beaches. He goes, oh, I like to F them, you know, and went from there.
Yeah, my boss was right behind me, and he's like, what the hell? I'm like, well, I
did warn you in the email.
Yeah, I know.
There's some...
Well, he went to school here, like, way back when, so he's like, oh, it's Canada.
Okay. But it's kind of interesting. You see what they do, and they try to install a screen blanking utility to blank my screen. Once I finally realized what they were doing, because the VMware doesn't work, I said, oh yeah, my screen's blank. Then you can see them going through my documents, going through all my programs, there was nothing on the machine. But they were going through everything trying to get into it.
While you were on the phone?
Yeah, while we were on the phone. But I couldn't see, supposedly my screen was blank.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, we're fixing your computer, we're fixing it. And you see him opening up all this stuff and opening all my programs and deleting them. And it's like, oh man. But it's kind of, watch that, it's kind of interesting. So, I don't know, it was just kind of cool. Okay, interviewing a member of staff for a school project. A lot of people do that, they interview different people, but you know, hey, you could do that very easily, not illegal. Okay, physical entry of a facility including attending a tour. Could I take a tour of Walmart? Sure. And it's not illegal, even though I could be trying to steal from them, but you know, it's not illegal. Making friends with someone who works there, okay. All these things are legal. Questionable, performing a passive scan. Am I doing anything with the results of that? You know, so it's kind of questionable. Reading the names of the mail sitting on the mail cart. So if the mail's coming through, should you really be reading it? No, unless it's addressed for you, that kind of stuff. Okay. Scanning documents laying around, picking up trash in the parking lot. No, trash. Yeah, we in our principal's class, sometimes we do a dumpster dive project. And I had him do it, and one of the students came back to me with a stack of papers from Express personnel. It had the timesheets for all the employees, and it had their social security numbers and names and everything on them. So I called them and said, hey, you know, you guys are throwing this stuff away. And I called the corporate office up on Northwest Expressway. They're like, no, sir, that's impossible. We have a corporate shredding policy in place. Everything is shredded. I said, I got them right here in front of me. Well, if you have them, then there's a number in the top corner. So I read it off, and he's just like, that's the corporate office. Obviously, the corporate office isn't incorporating their shredding capabilities. So, you know, kind of funny stuff like that. Picking a copy of the employee's newsletter. You know, there's a lot of different stuff. Working phone lists. So, war driving. You know, I was in a conference in Orlando, I think, and the guy gave a presentation about war driving. And Dr. Schmidt was like, man, you know, that's kind of one of the iffy things. Is it legal or not? If you detect their network, no big deal. But if the moment you try to access it in any way, then you're breaking in. Well, I tell people it's kind of like, you know, just because someone has a network that's available and open, does that mean you can use it? Well, it's just like I left my house unlocked. That doesn't mean you can come in and use my house. So kind of iffy stuff there. Illegal. Developing a front company for purpose of robbing, okay, defrauding people. Stealing their garbage. Now, once it's on the street, that's legal, supposedly, I'm guessing. I'm not a garbage man, but entering a home or office to look for stuff, dropping a keylogger, leaving a sniffer behind. There's all kinds of different stuff that could be considered illegal. Okay? How about this? Some of us are more vulnerable than others. A lot of people, you know, are very trusting. Right? They like that guy on the phone. You know, I'm walking through this extra, you know, all this stuff with him, and I knew it was a scam. But what if I was a normal person and he's telling me all these INF files were infected files? You think my secretary would know the difference? Heck no, she wouldn't. So some people are easier to scam than others. Okay? So social engineering says it works for the most part because people are trusted and helpful. Okay, there's a DEF CON video. Actually, let me see if I can find it real quick. We're not going to watch it. I'm just going to tell you about it. I'll show you there. I might have already told this class, but let's see. Come on.
Talking about the guy getting his computer stolen.
Right. They already told you guys. Oh, come on.
It's
hacker. Let's see. It was DEF CON.
Owned by. It was DEF CON 18.
DEF CON 18.
Pwned PW.
I think you can find it with this way, actually. There it is.
There.
Yeah, this guy here. Yeah, pwned by owner, what happens when you steal a hacker's computer. There, it's about an hour long, I think. No, 21, no, it's only 21 minutes, really?
That's not right.
But that's the guy. I mean, that's literally the guy in the video. Maybe it is only 20 minutes long. I don't know. But really, really cool video. You should watch that one. Okay. It says the weakest link in any security scheme is the user. What happens when people leave their computer logged on? Around here in my office at least, if you accidentally leave your computer logged on, you're going to have different backgrounds. You're going to have all kinds of... I had My Pony installed on mine one day from Roy, and we don't leave our computers logged on, and you never should. Okay. It says the success or failure depends on the ability of you to manipulate people. Okay. What can you get them to do? Okay. Pretty easy to do. So, all right. All right, how about bribery? We talked a little bit about that. Or impersonation. Okay. Pretend I'm somebody else. There was another DEF CON video. Guy was talking about it. Says, you can buy FedEx and UPS uniforms online. Go in there and pretend you're with FedEx or whatever. They don't care. They'll let you in. They'll let you right on in. Okay. So bribery, greed and ignorance against something. Talk about it in computer security, but the credit bureaus, one guy was selling the names for like $300 a shot from the credit bureaus, and finally he sold access to the system for $10,000 for unlimited access to the system. So some people need money. Okay, blackmail is a common tactic. Okay, deception. Okay. It says achieve access to information by joining the company. So if I'm gonna sit there and try to do something to Walmart, why not get a job at Walmart? And then I'm the inside man. Okay. I've never seen the movie Denzel Washington, Inside Man. That's a good movie. It's a very good movie. Conformance is they convince the victims that they have a lot in common. That guy on the phone, if you watch that thing, he was trying to be our buddy with all the stuff he was talking about. They want to be your buddy, okay? They become your good friend, okay? Or reverse is hacker projects himself as an authority vested with the power to solve their problems. Think about it, that's what the guy was doing to us 2 days ago. Okay? Oh, hold on a second. Hold on. Hello? Yeah, I'm in class. I'll call you back. Bye. I'm expecting a phone call. But it's, all right. What? Yeah. Okay. So physical intrusion says foremost traditional technique. You break into the building, but do we need to do that nowadays? That guy that we were in this week, where was he from? Probably India or somewhere. He wasn't here. So they really don't need to. If you're watching the video, he has us install any admin, which is basically just so he can connect in. But then he installs some other program. I forget what it was. Team Viewer. But when he does it, he says, make sure you check the box to remember this and let me in at all times or something. Yeah. Which obviously we didn't do. But, funny stuff, okay? They can develop fake identity cards. I mean, you can order fake ID cards from anywhere. Things like fakeid.net or something, you can order Oklahoma and anybody. So, Dr. Shinoy was actually on the team that came up with the new driver's licenses. He said there's 17 pieces of security, built into Oklahoma. Okay. I don't know if that's true, but it's better than our old ones. Then back in 2004 or 2005, when Eileen was up at University of Tulsa, they were assigned a task to go. There was an issue with driver's license being stolen, so they were all assigned over Thanksgiving weekend to go get trash from all the tag agencies all over Tulsa. And so she went and got a bag of trash and brought it to the house here in Choctaw, and we're going through it. And what it was is they were printing these new driver's licenses. They actually print on 3-color ink. And it's blue, yellow, and red or something. But it's basically this long cellophane ribbon that you hold it up to a light, and you can see the entire driver's license in a picture. So they made this real nice, fancy driver's license, but then they're throwing the ribbon in the trash can. So it's just kind of crazy. Okay, very crazy. Okay. So the last step is to acquire useful or valuable information. Okay? Watching the video, finally the guy gave up. He really there was nothing on that machine. Oh, and it was funny. He's like, so what do you use your computer for? We're like, oh, we online banking, online shopping. He's like, oh, you banking. So he thought he had a really good one. Okay, avoid suspicions. Never collect all the required information for every single person or all at the same time. Get a little bit at a time. Okay. Never hold the position with a value after it's ended. Once I got what I need, move on. If you stay there too long, sooner or later they're going to catch you. Okay. It says the more valuable it is, the harder they work on it. And the harder they work to get it. Okay. It says when it's not possible, they use communications media. They could call, they could use internet, or use whatever. Okay. Communications media, they have the postal mail, which, how long do you think we're still going to have a postal service? Yeah, aren't they losing like billions and billions of dollars a year? And it's like, does anyone actually use stamps? Becky does. I have some at home because there's a couple things you have to, like, actually property taxes you can pay online now. They just did that. But there's a few things you just have to pay. It's just tough. Okay, but it's very powerful. They receive your letter. They receive whatever. It could be a prize. There was these cops things every now and then. They send out stuff saying you want a prize, and all these bad guys show up to the place to get the prize, and they capture them. There was a show about that. It was like on Cops or something. They sent all these criminals something saying, you want a prize, come here and get it. And they all showed up and they all got arrested.
It's like a lottery and stuff like
It was a lottery. So it's kind of funny. Okay. They could ask for tax information, phone numbers, email, could be anything. Okay. Email. A lot of scams with email. False offerings, all kinds of stuff going on with email. Okay. They send emails from, actually, Rose State had one coming out this week. Something from Rose State, whatever, IT support. They're switching our servers. Click here to do something or other. It's going on all the time. Okay, could be invitations to join stuff. Okay, some of these require you to put information. I told you about the director of the FBI and his online bank. Did I tell you that? Okay. Well, okay. Some of you didn't hear that. Well, I was at a conference in Tampa, and the director of the FBI was there. He was saying that he's no longer allowed to use online banking because he fell for one of these scams. He went in, clicked on it, entered his username, password, and everything online. And his wife told him that if you're the director of the FBI and you can fall for it, you ain't allowed to use it no more. So he doesn't use online banking anymore. Is there anyone who doesn't use online banking? Lewis. Two of you don't use online banking? That's the best. I paid my gas bill sitting at my desk this afternoon.
I'm a bank teller. Check it at work.
Your bank, they won't let you check it? What'd you say now?
I'm a bank teller. Just check
Oh, duh. So you have inside access. Yeah, but online banking is very, very handy. Phishing. Tricking a website that you think's real, but it's not. Okay. Here's an example of an obvious phishing website. I mean, there's tons. There's eBay websites. There's, I have an old eBay fake website I used in a forensics project a few years ago. And it was on the Rose State server that was not indexed. And it said, this is a forensics project, this is not real, and so on and so forth. But it was a fake eBay page. But all over it says, this is not real. Well, when they moved our web server, they indexed the entire thing. So that fake eBay website got out there and Rose State got blocked worldwide. So they called me and they're like, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, I didn't do anything. Well, it was from years and years ago, and someone turned on indexing. And luckily, I found the email where I told them, make sure you turn off indexing. And someone turned it back on. So, but yeah, we got unblocked, but it took a few days. D2L was down, everything was down because our domain got blocked. You typed in anything rose.edu, it was gone. So they weren't too pleased. Okay, but a lot of phishing attempts out there. Instant messaging. How do you know who you're talking to sometimes? Okay? Or text messaging. How do you know who's on the other end? Now text messaging send you links to stuff, and unless it's something I request, like a password reset, I'm not about to click on anything in there. Okay. Okay, telephone, they could do, manipulate background sounds. And actually, if you watch that recording I sent out, that call center was the noisiest thing I've ever heard. You could hear tons of people in the background. It's like, dude.
I picked up on why you kept muting the phone, because when you were talking to the technician or whatever, he didn't want you to hear him typing.
Oh, yeah. Well, but part of it, he could actually, when he was typing the prices,
yeah,
you could hear him typing. He's like, do you see what the technician? I said, no, I see what you're typing.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's the technician. He's like, do you see that? Yeah, dude, I heard you typing it. I saw you typing it. Oh, it's crazy. Okay. Help desk people, vulnerable targets. Tinker, you work at Tinker. I heard something happened today where everybody had to accept a form or something. A lot of people didn't. And like 200 people got cut off first thing this morning.
That might have been airport side.
Oh, okay. But yeah, there was a whole bunch of people. I guess they did something. You had to agree to something when you first logged on, and if you didn't, it cut you off.
we ended up getting a whole bunch of calls and kept having to direct from the Air Force.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was like 200 people in the queue this morning for not doing the correct way, but crazy stuff, okay? Yeah. They could also impersonate technicians. Hey, I'm so-and-so here. You know, I installed the wireless for a lot of the Buffalo Wild Wings places around, the Moore and Stillwater and Edmond and all over the place. And the one up on Kelly and Danforth, way the heck up in Edmond, I installed it, and they had a problem one day. I mean, I think it just had to be reset. I don't remember what it was. But I walked in there and said, hey, I'm Ken here to fix your wireless. And they let me right on in the back into the office where the safe was and everything. It's like, okay. Then they give me free food when I left, so it's pretty handy. But I had no proof of who I was or anything. They just let you in there. So if you just act like you know what you're doing, they let you in. So, all right, steps to counter it. Don't provide information to unknown people. Discover card. I'm assuming somebody might have a Discover card in here. I actually love Discover card because if they want to talk to you, if there's a fraud attempt, they'll call you and say, hey, this is Discover Card Fraud Department. Please call us back at the number on the back of your card, which is great. Because that way, I'm the one who has to find the number. It's not like they're giving me a fake number, so I know it's really the right person, and it's kind of handy. I like the way they do it, okay? Don't disclose confidential information to anyone over the telephone. I don't know. I told one of my classes, but I've taken quite a few trips where the NSA has paid for it, okay? The big NSA in D.C. And it never fails. I always have to email them my social security number. The only way they'll accept it is through an email. It's like, what the heck? I can do everything in the online form except my social security number. And I always have to email it to them. I just think that is the craziest thing in the world. The NSA, that's the only way they'll accept it. I'm like, why? Okay, but it's crazy. Okay. Don't type passwords, other information where people can see it. Will Rogers Airport here, I've flown out of there dozens and dozens of times. I always like watching them. You know how they always close the gate doors? When they go to open it, there's a little keypad there. I always like it. Every time I see them now, they're always, they hold it around it and cover it so you can't see what they're doing, which is good. They should do that. So I like to see when people are doing what they're supposed to do. Yeah. Don't submit information on insecure websites. I used to run an ISP, and I had a client of mine whose certificate got screwed up. I had to get a replacement, but it was going to be like 24 hours. So we had the choice, leave the invalid certificate on there, and anytime somebody went to the web page, you get that pop-up, hey, this is not trusted, blah, blah, blah. Or remove the certificate. So what would you do? We removed the certificate for 24 hours because if I left it on there, all the customers would get a pop-up about invalid certificate and leave it. If I take the certificate off, there's no more pop-up. It's not secure, but they don't know. And that's what they told me to do. I'm like, okay, I'll remove the certificate for 24 hours. And so, not the best thing to do. Okay. Don't use the same username and password for all accounts. I used to be guilty of that. I used the same thing for everything. Now I don't anymore because there's so many different accounts, and some require this, some require that, some require the next thing. There's a program out there called LastPass. If you go to lastpass.com, excellent. It's free, the best password management tool in the world. LastPass.com, it generates passwords for you. You never have to type them in again. You just remember one password to get into the LastPass, and that's it. It does everything else for you. Very, very handy. Even Roy uses it now, so it's very nice. Integrates with your cell phone, everything. It's really, really nice, okay? Verify credentials of people asking for passwords. Who are you? Why do you need my password? First of all, your bank should never ask you for your password. Very few people should ever ask you for your password. Okay. All right. Other steps. Keep confidential documents locked up. That'd be a good thing. Okay. Lock or shut down computers when you're away from them, which we try to do our best around here. Okay. Instruct help desk employees to provide information only after they're getting proper authentication. Okay. Just makes sense. Who are they? Are they really from the help desk? So on and so forth. Okay. How about dumpster diving? Often the mother lode of information. We have a project in this, which I'll give it out to you at the end of the lecture here. Okay. Could be hardware, could be software. I mean, heck, eBay. MIT did a project where they bought hundreds of hard drives or old computers off of eBay and found majority of them still had all the data on it. I used to take care of a title service on the other side of town. And they have old e-machines. Everybody know what an e-machine is? That's like a disposable computer. If it breaks in any way, they'll just give you a new one. They don't even try to fix it. They're so crappy. But they had some old E-machines. I talked to them into buying new computers, and they did. Well, they're old E-machines. They want to give them away to people. I said, well, we're going to wipe the hard drives. Well, how are they going to use them? I said, well, they're going to have to get Windows and install it. Oh, no, they don't have the money to do that. So I'm like, what are we going to do? I mean, So basically, I deleted their data and gave it to them. Because they're like, no, just delete our files. I said, yeah, but that's not truly getting rid of the stuff. But, so, oh well. That's why I ended up doing it. Okay, sales receipts, a lot of information on those. Most of them now, like they blot out your account number, social security, all that stuff nowadays. You can't really see it anymore. But I love it. You go to get gas, which I don't do very frequently, but I ain't done this since March, I think. But in my Prius, I get gas every now and then. You always go to the gas, and people always leave the darn receipts in the gas pumps. Anyone ever seen those? I've seen some where it's like one receipt after another. It's like just big old long receipts. I don't know. Okay. All right. Don't give out credit card information, and a lot of times people throw it away. More and more, like bank statements don't even include the darn account number anymore. It kind of drives me crazy because sometimes you want to call them like, what's your credit card number? I'm like, I don't know. Because it's not on the online statement anymore. It's not anywhere. And it's just tough, okay? Shred documents. Okay, shredder's always a good thing. Talk more about that. Okay. It says drafts of letters are routinely left whole in the trash. Okay. People just throw away all kinds of stuff. Okay, directories, catalog listings, customer listings, all kinds of stuff is always thrown away. Okay. All right. Security policies must address what to do with them. Okay. Row state here, we got these big green buckets in the lounges that we put our old tests and everything in there. We thought for years those were where you put your shredded stuff, the tests and everything to get shredded. So, oh no, that's just recycle bucket. Great. So yeah, the shredding stuff's over in the social science or in the student services basement. We're like, oh, no one knew that because they were unlocked. We're like, why are these unlocked? Finally, I said, no, those aren't for tests. That's just for recyclables. I mean, everybody throws the old tests and everything in there. It's like, oh wow.
I've been selling stuff out of those green buckets
Forever, huh? Yeah. Jeez. It says best solution to theft. This is crosscut shredder's good. I was actually talking to our secretary there today. Did you know if you take a piece of paper, don't totally destroy it, but take a piece of paper and burn it, you can actually read the writing off of the ashes still? Yeah. So it's pretty crazy. Now, again, if you start messing with the ashes, sooner it gets all screwed up. But there's a lot of stuff you can get off of that. Okay. Outdated hardware, people throw stuff away. We talked about that last week about the old copy machines. And you can get a lot of data off all this stuff. Okay, prevention. Okay. Develop a policy and make sure people follow it. Policies are great. Normally people follow them for a little while, but then they stop following them. Okay? It says come up with a systematic method for handling trash. What do you do with it? Do you burn it? Do you do whatever? Google, I don't know, a little while back I watched it where they showed how to get rid of hard drives. They take this huge press that punches through the hard drive and then they shred the entire drive. They throw in this thing, it comes out and you have a little piece of metal. It's like, wow, that's a heck of a destruction policy for your hard drives there. Okay. Okay, what should you shred? What shouldn't you shred? You know, erase all tapes, floppy drive, hard drive, a lot of stuff. You know, break CD-ROMs. You can recover data from broken CD-ROMs. Frank actually did a project here where he was able to have a CD-ROM that we cut in half. And he was able to get the data off of it. So, it's scary stuff. Okay. Okay. So simply break them is not enough. Place them in the microwave and heat them. All right. All right, other techniques. Internet footprinting, basically finding out about a company. Now, I've noticed this a lot lately. A lot of companies are putting less and less information on their websites. They're not putting email addresses anymore. A lot of them don't put phone numbers anymore. That's good. That way people can't just scrape the website and grab all the data. There's a lot of programs out there that can just grab the data off a website. So, all right, they can do web surfing, network enumeration. We're going to play with some of this stuff throughout this course. DNS reconnaissance, we'll do a little bit with that. Network-based reconnaissance, there's just a lot of stuff you can do. Okay. Web search, you all know what search engines are? You ever seen that Wayback Web? The website called Wayback Web? You can look at websites from a year ago, 10 years ago, whatever. Actually, let's see if it's up there. Let's go. It's waybackweb.com, I think, isn't it?
Way back.
This is just Wayback?
Way back machine or something like that.
Let's see. We'll find it. Is this it?
No.
No, hold on. Oh,
I like
nice.
the security exception that popped up during the.
Didn't like that one. Way Back Into Love. Okay, I guess that's a song. Oh, web.archive.org. Great. Okay, let's go to rose.edu. We can see January 14th, but let's look at a different year. How do we change the year? Come on. Oh, there it is. Let's go to 2007. See what our website looked like. Oh, doesn't even open. Oh, was it loading?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Let me. Impatient? There it is. There's a really old copy of our website. Yeah, it's from 2007. So you can see all kinds of old stuff on there. Oh, my computer's clean now. Yes.
I'm surprised the 8-bit protection applied to me,
Yeah, well.
man. Use it up at work.
All right, the search engine's got a lot of stuff you can find out there. HTML source code, reading that stuff. A lot of times people will put names and numbers and links to internal files on there. A lot of stuff you can put in there. HTML source code, we talked about that, but there's lots. People putting usernames and passwords. Sometimes people hard code login information in there. I like the forums sometimes where they're actually mailing them. They don't have the website, their email address anywhere on the website. Yeah, it's a mail to form. Just go to the code of it, and there's the email address. So pretty bad. News groups, not used as much anymore, but there are some out there with information on them. Mainly they're porn. I got right, Roy. Okay.
Lots and lots of it.
Security websites, there's lots of them out there. They talk, lots of different stuff going on and what people should watch out for. Newsletters, there's always newsletters about all that kind of stuff. Okay. Network enumeration, who is really good, tells you, who's in charge, admin contact, technical contact. There's all kinds of information about the domains. Okay. Those of you who had forensics, hopefully know how to do that now. Hopefully. DNS stuff's a good one. Also, NW Tools is another good one. You can do a lot of information here with DNS. These guys, after I think 3 or 4 tries, they start telling you they want you to pay for it now. But you can go in and find all kinds of information. Okay. Who is the command line works on the Linux systems, and there's the command for it. Just type who is, and it doesn't show us results. Okay. But you can type who is in the domain. It tells you a lot of information about it. Okay. What the heck? What? All right, I'm almost done. All right. Jeez. Look it over. I got someone coming over later, so I can leave on time. Okay, but DNS stuff, NW Tools or Network Tools is probably my favorite. DNS stuff was good, but like I said, after a few tries, they kind of, it's not free anymore. Network Solutions is also good. Zone transfers. Way back when I ran my ISP, what I would do is if I was moving a website from one provider to me, I would just do a zone transfer. Basically, I would take their entire DNS zone, transfer it off their server onto mine. Then we would just tell the naming company to point to me. Super easy. Nowadays, pretty much everybody blocks that, so it doesn't go through anymore. Okay. But zone transfers, you could literally transfer a zone to whoever. Okay. So one of the biggest things there. It's a feature that allows you to transfer. Yeah, we talked about that. NS Lookup is a tool to do a name server lookup. I'll show an example of how that works. I'm going to do NS Lookup for www.google.com. Oops. And there you go. I get a few addresses. Now you notice Google has more than one address. Why do they have more than one address? Roy, go.
Round robin.
Round robin. We don't want everybody to hit the same server. Can you imagine if everybody in the world was hitting one Google server? Ain't happening. Now, if you'll notice, what the heck? They're changing order. Y'all see that? Yep, they rotate. Based on, and each area gets their own set of numbers. So in this direct area, there's 5 Google servers. So, but we found out some information already about Google. We know their number. We know they have 5 servers. So there's a lot of stuff you can find out. Okay, and that's look. I can do a lot more with that. Also, hosts is another program that helps you do DNS lookup. It's pretty much on the Linux systems. Okay, and there's an example of NS lookup, and you can use NS lookup to query specific parts of a domain, like the mail server or whatever. Very nice. Okay. And there's host, which is the Linux version of it. Same kind of thing. This is what an actual record, well, these are like record entries, what they look like. Okay. All right. And there's host again, another example of it. Okay. Oh, here's what they're trying to do, a zone transfer. Okay. Normally they don't work. Right? But dig is what's used now. It says domain internet gopher is used for grabbing information as well. So there's a lot of, and we'll play with some of these tools throughout this course. Okay. Ping, everybody know what ping is? Packet internet groper, to say that somewhere? Doesn't say that? Okay, that's what it's really called. Packet internet groper. It's used for checking connectivity. We can't use it in this room because they block it at road state. But you can use for connectivity to wherever. Trace route is another way to do it. Trace route is kind of cool. It tells you how you get from here to wherever. And the way that the software works, records on the internet have a time to live, TTL. In other words, how long will they live? And every time they go through a router, that time to live is decremented by 1. With traceroute, say I want to find out how to get from here to Google. Okay? I do traceroute, www.google.com. Actually, I can do that. It's not going to work well, but I can do it anyway. I can do, it's going to do quite a few hops. So what it did is it sent a request to Google, but it set the time to live with 1. So it hit the very first router, and the router said, you're expired. Send it back to me and says, hey, the record's expired. So that's how I got the first router. Then I send it to Google again, but this time with the time to live to 2. So it goes through the first router, hits the second router. Second router says, well, you're expired, and it tells me, hey, it expired. So that's how I'm getting all these results. Okay? But outside of this school, they block it. So we won't, that's why it's doing all the asterisks. But it keeps incrementing that up to, 30 hops. It changes the TTL from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, and it gets a response back. It actually response number 8 that basically says we've expired. Right? So it's kind of cool. This dude is like eating stuff all the time. That's fine. All right. Where's my thing? Okay. So there's also, we can do ping for IPv6. Okay. And there's where is. Okay. Traceroute. We talked about that. There's traceroute showing, well, actually, they don't really show us an example, do they? They're doing traceroute of themselves, so that was handy. Okay, NetStat, network statistics, can show you the different protocols. And I think we can actually see that here. NETSCAT, there's what we're listening on, and is it dash, come on. I can't remember the command. Is it dash A? Show all the different stuff. So we got a lot of ports we're listening on, which means this machine is actively listening on ports 135. Anybody know what that is? 135? File and printer sharing. 445. That's Active Directory services. 1025, 26, 27. I'm not sure what they're using those for. 3389. Anybody? Remote desktop. Okay. 139 is another part of file and printer sharing. 445 Active Directory again. Again, I don't know what all these are. A lot of these are higher level ports. So but you can always find out. And if it says established, like we have a connection established through Microsoft-DS, it's probably it's probably domain services again. So it's probably. But if you're doing this at home and you saw a bunch of established connections to somewhere, hey, maybe someone's in your machine. What it shows. Okay, so that's NetStat. Oops. Yeah, that's okay. And there's just a help file of it. It's the same on Linux. Okay. Is that the end of the chapter? All right. Now we're going to talk about your second assignment. Hold on.